All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again to the Enhanced Sports Show. It's a Saturday afternoon here, and nice to have you aboard. And if you're coming up for the first time or first time in a long time, you picked a good day to join us. My name is Lou Tenor, and I'll be here for the next 2 hours or so until Rasal McGee takes over his fine show at 6 o'clock. And don't forget Kevin Dixon Monday nights from either 6 to 8 or 7 to 9, as the case may be. The number is 512-543-4662. I repeat, 512-543-4662. Don't forget, you can check us out on YouTube. Go to YouTube by type in the Enhanced Sports Show. And don't forget to like and share the Facebook page. All right, we got a busy Saturday as planned, but no more busier, of course, than the NFL draft, which has been going on for the past couple of days. So I'm going to bring in part of my crew here. Diane should be along a little later on, but I'm sure she'll be here at some point. All right, Steve Davidson, are you there? Steve Kent, Mikey. Good, good. All right. All right. So as I was saying, I have been following the draft, of course, since the start. Now I can't do all 272 picks, because that would take forever. So I'll try and run down as much of the first two as possible, and of course, the big story of the whole draft as well. Then I think you guys know what I mean by that. All right. So I'm gonna go here to the list if I can find this. Uh, that's not it. Of course, a lot of people were, making a lot of, assumptions of the draft of who is going to get picked where. All right, here we go. So we're going to start off with the usual top spots here. Number one, no surprise, Tennessee Titans picked Cam Ward, a quarterback out of Miami. Number two, the Carolina Panthers take the. I'm sorry. Yeah, Carolina Panthers. They take cornerback and wide receiver Travis Hunter going to the Jaguars. Number three, not surprised here. This was very talked about, and especially here in the New York area, as the Giants picked former Penn State defensive end Abdul Carter. I'm sure Mikey knows about that too. I'm sure you can find that along as well. Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. All right. Um, I think Steve will like this one. The Patriots, aka them, took offensive tackle Will Campbell from LSU. Number five, Mason Graham, a defensive tackle from Michigan. He goes to the Browns. Number six, you can take this one or leave it. I don't know. From Boise State, running back Aston Genty goes to the Raiders. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you think it was a little bit too high, or do you think maybe that was just about right? Okay, I was a little concerned. I was a little sketchy about that one. Of course, he should have won the Heisman, but you should have won that. But okay, number seven. I'm not too crazy with this pick. Ahmad Menambu from the Jets. From Missouri, an offensive tackle. He'll go to the Jets. That's the best pick they got. But I am glad that they decided to go another position rather than just go for a quarterback. Because every time you get a quarterback, it seems to be all the hype, and it's going to be the next so-called generational talent. I'm glad that they went with another position as their first pick. I think it's going to do better for them, and I might that might help a little bit more instead of always trying to go for the top quarterback all the time. Because every time we get one, they don't live up to the expectations. So I'm glad they went in that direction. Yeah, I know. Alex, yeah, right. No, yeah, they could have done that too. Right. That's it. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was I think it was the right pick. They went for what they needed. So that's more important. Let me get Alex's thoughts on this. What do you make of the Jets pick or the Patriots pick, Alex? Exactly. No, that's what they went for. And that's what they don't need. Yes. Like I said briefly. You know, right. I think it's a good move too. Yeah. Yeah, I like the move too. They didn't just go for the quarterback what they usually do, which is the big mistake. So I kind of like this. Absolutely. Yes, they do. They have a lot of hope. Yes. All right. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Yes. Right. Right. Yeah, I know. It is in some way. Yes. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Mike, are you? Well, yeah. Hold on. I want to see if Mike is still here. Mike. Okay. Okay. Never mind. I thought Mike. I thought Mike. Okay. I thought his microphone was off. Sorry. I'd like to welcome Diane and Jimmy to the show. So, Jimmy, let me start with you. Any thoughts on the draft so far? Jimmy? Yeah. I kind of figured that out. Mm, yeah. Diane, any thoughts, Diane? Okay, well, just thought I'd try to get your thoughts anyway as much as possible because I think everybody's views as much as I possibly can. All right, moving down the line. Excuse me if I butcher these names up. Okay, just bear with me on that. Number 8, the Panthers select Victoria McMillan from Arizona. He's a wide receiver. Number 9, Kevin Banks Jr. from Texas. He goes to the Saints. He's an offensive tackle. Number 10, I believe, is the Bears. Whoops. Hang on a second. Yeah. The Bears take Colton Loveland. Oh, excuse me for this. It's a little bit wacky here. Colton Loveland. He is a tight end from Michigan. All right. Number 11. Nice. Yes, they do. Remember, I'm going in order. I'm going in order, so bear with me. Okay. Number 11. The 49ers take defensive end Mikael Williams. He's a defensive end from Georgia. Number 12. The Dallas Cowboys take Tyler Booker, an offensive guard from Alabama. Whoa, nearly it's a Denny for you here. Sorry. Okay, number 13. The Dolphins take Kenneth Grant, a defensive tackle from Michigan. Where's Caroline? Yes, I was not aware of that. I was not aware of that. I was supposed to go to Yale. Yeah. Wow. I like that. No, what is it? I was thinking it'd be hard. Yeah. Nice. All right, number 14, another one from Penn State as Tyler Warren, a tight end, goes to the Colts. Number 15, Jalen Walker, a linebacker from Georgia, goes to the Falcons. Number 16, the Cardinals select Walter. Why is that, Steve? Why has he got to change his uniform? All right, I get it. Okay, I got it. Number 16, the Cardinals take Walter Nolan, that's Nolen, going to the Cardinals from Ole Miss. Number 17, the Bengals take defensive end Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. I like that for some reason. Number 18, the Seahawks take Gray Zabel, an offensive guard from North Dakota State. I know a lot of people are not familiar with that because, well, North Dakota State's really I think it's Division One double layer two, so we don't get a chance to see much of that. Number 19, the Bucks take Emeka a wide receiver from the Ohio State. Sorry, I had to do it. All right, number 20, the Denver Broncos have taken Jahid Barron, a cornerback from Texas. I wonder what the okay, here we go. Number 21. Okay, the Steelers they can use somebody like this. Defensive tackle Derek Hammond from Oregon. I kind of like that. That looks pretty good here. I okay. The Chargers take Omarion Hampton, not Hammond, but Hampton, a running back from North Carolina. I like that move. I like that move. Packers take number 23, Matthew Golden, a wide receiver from Texas. Like that. Number 24, the Vikings take offensive guard Donovan Jackson from another from Ohio State. All right, let me ask my local crew here. I mean, this has been kind of talked about, although kind of shaky on this one a bit here. Number 25, the Giants take Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart. I think I got some information on him, so just try to bear with me for a minute because yeah, I did hear some stories about him, so I just want to see if I can get this in here. If All right, yeah, Giants head coach Brian Daboll officially named. Well, first before we get that, the Giants named um, Wilson Russell's their starting quarterback on Thursday night after starting Jackson Dart 25th overall in the draft. Russ will be the starter. He told reporters at the team's press conference on the first night of the draft. Russell Wilson signed a 1 year, $10.5 million contract a month ago. He was coming off one season with the Steelers where he was 6-5 as a starter. It was expected um, that Wilson would be the starter. The Giants also signed Jameis Winston in the offseason, which made fans think they would not select a quarterback in the draft, well, at least not the first round anyway. They even passed on Shredder Sanders for Dart in the first round. I'll get to Sanders in a little while. Well, I know what you're thinking right now, but let me get to this stuff first. Dabo laid out the plans for Dart in his rookie season. He came in and sat behind a few quarterbacks and learned a few things or two, said Dabo. Dart seems to be the long-term answer for the Giants. This will soon be a better decision. This will be a better decision than when they signed Danny Dimes in 2019. I mean, Dimes looked okay in the first season, but pretty much after that, he was just like a goner. He only gave him one winning season out of his whole time here. So yeah, anything I think could be a better move. Anything can be a better move, I think, than Daniel Jones because he lost it like in about season two, and they've never recovered. So I think yeah, Daniel Jones, nicknamed Danny Dimes. Although I wouldn't say he's even worth a nickel, to be honest with you. So yeah, I think I might like this move better. You can't do any worse. I mean, because remember, last season was the worst season in Giants history, only going 3-14. I mean, I never seen that bad. I mean, it wasn't even that bad in the '70s when they were that bad. Because back then, in the 1970s, they were trash. And this, it's like a throwback to that era. So any move, especially even with Dart, would be a better move for the Giants. I don't think they can go from 3-14 to 14-3 and make the playoffs or whatnot, but anything would be an improvement. Dimes is out and Dart is in. All right, let me ask the local crew here. Mikey, you're the biggest Giants fan out here. Well, let me ask Mike first. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe. Yeah. All right, Mikey. All right, Jimmy. Yes. Should be. All right. Anyone else? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Right. Dion. Yeah. Yes. Let me get Roger's thoughts. Oof. Roger, exactly. Yeah. Sure. Jones had no consistency. That was the problem. Yeah. All right, Roger, any thoughts on the draft? Okay, we're covering the draft. The Giants have made a few good picks at number 20, number 3, number 25. In case you haven't noticed here, they're going to go with Jackson Dart, a quarterback from Ole Miss, number 25, which was kind of expected. And they got a good one, number 3, when they went with Abdul Carr from Penn State, which was I would think was a very excellent choice. So, any thoughts on that? Yes, right. We'll see about that. No. All right, moving along. Number 26, the Falcons take James Pierce Jr., a defensive end from Tennessee. Number 27, the Ravens. I do, yeah. I was thinking when I think of the other one. The Ravens take Mikhail Starks, a safety from Georgia. I thought I went for that one. Number 28, no. Yeah, okay. All right, number 28, the Lions like Tyleek Williams, a defensive tackle from the Ohio State. I did it again. Commanders. Okay, Steve, what do you make of this one? The Bears take offensive tackle Josh Conley Jr. from Oregon. Yeah. So in other words, not very good. Remember, now we're going over here, so just stick to just stand by. We'll get to the Bills. We'll get to the Bills. Don't worry. Hang on. Okay. We do. We do have one. Maxwell. Maxwell Houston. Yeah. So, all right. So number 30, the Bills select Maxwell Harrison, a cornerback from Kentucky. So there's your answer right there, Di. All right. Number 31, Jimmy. The Eagles take Jihad Campbell, a linebacker from Alabama. Okay. Yeah, I think like that too. And number 32, yeah. And the conclusion of the first round, the Chiefs take Josh. And number 32, the Kansas City Chiefs take Josh Simmons, an offensive tackle from Ohio State. Another one from Ohio State. They got some stuff here. All right. So that takes care of round one. We'll just take some selected picks from round two here. Number 33, the Browns take Carson Swazinger. They don't have his position. Why? Okay. The Texans take. Okay, it's not coming up here, but thanks. All right. Sure. Yeah. Of course. Yes. Of course. Yes. 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 Mhm. Yeah. Remember that word if. Okay. All right. Moving along. Um, the Patriots selected Trevion Henderson, a running back from Ohio State. For my brother, who was a Bears fan, I'll tell you, we got Luther Burden the third, a wide receiver from Missouri. Number 41, the Bills take TJ Sanders, a defensive tackle from South Carolina. Got that die? Good. Number 42, I believe is a pick from the Jets. Yes, yes. Mason Taylor, a defensive end from LSU, and I believe his dad was a very great football player back then. Yes, of course. Jason, Jason Taylor. Oh yeah, that name sound familiar. Cowboys take number 44, Donovan Ezekiel from a defensive end from BC. That's Boston College, of course. Yeah, Boston College doesn't think since Flutie though much. Yeah, I'm just going to select the picks from our areas, guys. So just to save some time, because I can't do all 272 picks. You get the idea. Uh, All right, for the Lions, they take offensive guard Tate Ratledge from Georgia. He goes to the Lions. I'm doing that for personal reasons. Let's see who else. Oh, the Commanders take Trey Amos, a cornerback from Ole Miss. Steve, I think I'd be happy with that. Mhm. Number 64, Andrew um, Bubba, a safety from Texas, goes to the Eagles. I'm sure Jimmy's pleased with that one. Yes. All right, number 60. Yes. Number 65, the Giants take defensive tackle Darius Alexander from Toledo. Uh, Jets take Azaria Thomas, a cornerback from Florida State, or they say FLA State. Cowboys take Shaven Revel from East Carolina, a cornerback. Anything else? East Carolina is not that great of a football team, though. So, got better that. Not everybody's going to be a superstar player from a top 10 school. Yeah, you know, you guys all. All right, so we got all that. So now we'll get to the story of the day, which has been like a comic tragedy in itself, if you know what I mean. Follow along with me, please, as we get to the highlight of this draft, if you want to call it a highlight. So, as you know, there's been a lot of talk about Shredder Sanders, and everybody was thinking, well, what was going to happen? So, first up, after two full rounds and 102 selections in this draft, Shredders was not called at that time. The overhyped Colorado quarterback, and I use that term because I think he was overhyped, who fell out of the first round on Thursday, was not among the top 70 players during rounds 2 and 3. Now, a lot of people are probably asking, what? Say what? Now, I'll give you this. Now, okay, I think we pretty much knew that he wasn't going to be in the top 10. I mean, that was pretty much a given. But to shrink him so low, not even get past, down to the lower ranks of the first round or even the second and third round. I mean, okay, that's where I think it gets a little insulting. And I really kind of felt for the guy because I think he deserves a lot better than this. I mean, to say he was only, because a lot of people, he is good. I mean, stats don't lie, guys. I mean, listen to this. I mean, okay, well, he been through the rounds. He played seven separate years, starting with Oregon, then with the Texas Tech and Louisville. Then two other quarterbacks were selected: Jalen Milroe of Alabama, the '92, and then Dylan Gabriel, '94. And like, okay, what's going on? So here's where it gets interesting. He has very impressive stats. Listen to these numbers, guys: 4,134 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, and a passing rate of 160.2. That was his senior year, and completed 70% of his passes. So naturally, you'd think he'd be a top candidate to be drafted, right? You'd think he'd be like in the top 15 or top 20 in the first round, right? Think about it. I mean, with numbers like that, I think he deserved it. I mean, okay, he's not going to be like number two, number three, but nobody thought it's going to happen either. But and he deserved to be higher than this. So he led Colorado to a 9-4 record, finishing eighth among Heisman Trophy voting, which I think he should have been a little bit higher. He earned the Associated Press second team, while All American, while Cam Ward of Miami was first All-American and was selected first over by the Titans. Okay, yeah, I expected that. So Sanders played his first 2 seasons at Jackson State for his dad, primetime Deion. Then transferred to Colorado, completing 70.1% of his passes, which amounted to 14,337 passing yards, 134 touchdowns, and 27 interceptions. I'm like, oh, come on, people. We get drafted already? What's going on? Numbers like that, you should have been drafted earlier. And you didn't draft him yet. I'm like, what? That might have been his dad because some people didn't really like him. So his potential destination was a hot topic around the sports talk circuit, like First Take or Sports Center, et cetera, et cetera. And was the ideal prospect for the Giants at third, the Saints at ninth, and the Steelers at 21st, which is probably the worst he's going to do. He attended the combine in February, but did not throw for scouts until Pro Day earlier this month. One good thing though, he did get his number retired along with former teammate Travis Hunter. So we move on to today. If I can find it here. Uh, okay, so he finally gets selected. He's the second quarterback to the Browns. The first was Dylan Gabriel, who was in the third round. His dramatic drop was discussed among the biggest draft falls of all time. Given his status of the nation's top quarterbacks and the expectation of being drafted a lot higher, that didn't work. So during his time at Colorado, he had 64 touchdown passes, the most in school history, and had a very impressive numbers. But he had a weak offensive line protection, so that might have caused a problem too. And he was also sacked 94 times in 2 seasons. That's not very good either. So we kind of factor in that. He had 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions and a completion of 74% when blitzed. But also suffered a lot of criticism too, because part of his problem was his lack of mobility and a tendency to hold the ball too long, which may account for being sacked 94 times anyway. Because if you hold the ball too long, eventually you're going to get sacked and you're going to pay for it. So, that might be a factor then too. But overall, I mean, I think, the numbers show it that he should have been drafted a lot sooner than the 174th in the fourth round. I mean, that's insulting. Yeah, I mean, really. But I'm glad he got picked. I knew he was going to get picked, like in the top 5 or top 10, but he deserved a lot better than this. And a lot of fans are crying foul. I mean, really, a lot of fans were not happy that had to take to the fourth round to get there. Yeah, it's hard to believe he's going to play another year. I mean, Flacco's done. I mean, yeah, yeah. Yes, that's true too. Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Right. Yes. Keep you grateful. Hmm. A lot. Yeah. 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 Yes. I'll give you that. All right. So moving on. Um, Sticking with football just a little bit because wait a second. Okay, yes, because we have our Idiot of the Week segment, and it does involve a former football player. How many of you remember Adrian Peterson? I'm sure a lot of you do, right? Right. So, so this Yutz was arrested in the Minneapolis area on drunk driving charges, according to jail records. Peterson, who is now 40, only 40, wow, was attending a Vikings draft party at U.S. Bank Stadium hours earlier. And the Vikings selected Donovan Mitchell at number 24, and they were partying in the streets, of course. Uh, Peterson's bail was set at 4,000. He already posted. The former MVP was taken into custody at 5:16 a.m. and was released 2 hours later. Pearson has a court date set for May 9th, and the charge of DWI is a misdemeanor. Only a misdemeanor? He's getting off easy. So the Minnesota State Patrol told multiple outlets that Pearson was pulled over at around 3:20 a.m. Personally, how anyone could be on the road that hour, Friday morning, when a state trooper stopped a vehicle that was speeding on a road in Richfield, Minnesota. Pearson clocked at a ridiculous speed of 83 miles per hour in a 55-mile-hour zone, which makes you a bigger idiot, and contained a blood alcohol level of 0.14 during a breathalyzer test, according to law enforcement. Pearson was selected by the Vikings the first round way back in 2007. Boy, I'm getting old. And played there for 10 seasons. He was MVP in 2012 and led the league in rushing 3 times. He last played in the league in 2021 for the Titans and Seahawks. I mean, the guy was a big star, getting endorsed and everything. But this, of course, was, well, really stupid. 83 miles an hour? Like we didn't kill anybody. Ugh. It's amazing how some guys after retirement don't know what to do when they have to resort to stupidity like that. I mean, really. And he was a great running back. Yeah. Oh, oh yeah, yeah. Okay, you can have this one, Steve. Yes. Hold on, Steve. Let me interrupt for a second. Why would a guy who's about 60 years old, whatever he is, be messing around with a 20-year-old anyway? Yeah, I mean, why is he messing around with a 20-year-old anyway? Yeah, I heard that too. And then went over to Fox. Skip Bayless is an idiot. Yeah, but he even said though, listen to the whole tape, but not the only the first or last 10 minutes of it. I mean, because that you have to listen to the whole story, not just bits and pieces, because you might be missing out important information on that. So, but that's a big giveaway though, right there. He said, I'm gonna do this and do that. So that might be enough to convict him anyway for saying that alone. Yes. Ugh, just awful. Really. I mean, yes. Oh yeah. Yes. You better, especially in WrestleMania, buddy. Yes. I'm sure. Diane, wait, any more? Any more? WrestleMania stuff, Steve? Why not? Well, why do you think he had any chance to win? And you thought, not a chance. I get it. Uh-huh. All right. Okay, before I do anything else, Diane, any trivia? Go. Four. Tiger Woods. That was next. DJ. DJ say yes. I think it varies. 350. I said that. I said that first. I said that first. Hmm. All right. Okay, so turning to NBA now. The NBA in-season awards are being handed out, although not all of them yet. Now, this is different from the postseason awards, so we'll get that as when the playoffs are over. So we'll run down who won the awards and predictions on who hasn't had their awards handed out yet. Remember, this goes over a process. It's not all done in one night, folks. So that's the thing here. All right. So the sixth man of the year goes to Celtics guard Peyton Pritchard. Yeah, boy. Named the sixth man of the year, beating out such finals as Malik Beasley and Ty Jerome. Pritchard came off the bench in 77 of his 80 games played, posting averages of 14.3 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game, shooting 47.2% from the field and 40.7% from three-point range. This season, he led the league in 23 games of some 20 plus points off the bench, including a 43-point outburst against the Blazers on March 5th. Okay. He was the fourth Celtics player in history to win the Sixth Man of the Award, joining Malcolm Brogdon, Kevin McHale, and the late Bill Walton. McHale did it twice, and back-to-back years as well, in 84 and 85. I'm really old now. This is back when I was a kid. Wow. Clutch Player of the Year. I like this. I know you guys are going to hate it, but that honor belongs to uh, Jalen Brunson of the Knicks. Thank you. Let me go on here. All right. No information on here. Okay. But he beat out Anthony Edwards of the Timberwolves and the Joker of the Nuggets. How about that, guys? I mean, he came through in more than half of the games when they were down by by the clutch play. And I'm going to explain to you what that means by in the clutch if I have it here. I'm gonna explain this because a lot of people are probably asking what is the clutch player, if I can find that. Or I'll come back to that when I finish the list here. Yeah, I'll do that instead. All right, so oops, that's not what I want. Just give me a second here. I think I goofed. Yeah, but it's when you're down by 5, they make the throws to keep you in the game, whatnot. All right. So moving along, defensive player of the year goes to Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley of the Cavaliers. What a shock! I mean, the Cavaliers have dominated the whole season, so why not? Dyson Daniels of the Hawks and Draymond Green were also finalists. Very good company. MVP not announced yet, but we have the finalists here. Okay, listen closely. We got the Greek Freak of the Bucks. We got SGA of the Thunder, and the Joker of the Nuggets. This is very good company here, folks. This is going to be a tough decision here. So, Steve Davidson, who do you like for MVP, most valuable player? Tough one, I know. You'll go with the Joker. All right, Steve Kent. He left. All right, Mike, who do you got? No, no, MVP. I'll read it again. Business. Where'd it go now? Yeah, I mean, you have the Greek Freak. Yeah, you have the Greek Freak. You have Sag and Nikola Jokic. Okay, that's a good choice. Diane, Jimmy, Shy Alexander, Jimmy, Roger. I'm gonna go with the Joker. All right, Rookie of the Year not announced yet, but that will be. But here are the nominations. All right, Stefan Castle, the Spurs, Zachary Rasheer of the Hawks, Jalen Wells of the Grizzlies. Steve, say it again. Wells. Okay. Mike, Diane, Jimmy, Roger. Okay, I'm gonna go with Wells too. All right, most improved player of the year. Oh, this should be a breeze. All right, Kay Cunningham of the Pistons, Dyson Daniels of the Hawks, and Ivica Zubic of the Clippers. Steve, Mike, Diane, Jimmy. Absolutely, Roger. I'm going Cunningham of the Pistons, and finally, Coach of the Year. All right, this should be easy. Kenny Atkinson of the Cavaliers, JB Bickerstaff of the Pistons, and Ime Udoka of the Rockets. Steve, of course. Mike, Diane, Jimmy, Roger. Thank you. Somebody agrees with me. Thank you. I mean, guys, look, they went from 14 to 68 in the playoffs now, and they're making it an interesting series with the Knicks. I mean, the first 3 games they play. It's been very competitive basketball, each coming in within just a few points of each other. I mean, it's been very highly competitive, and you look where they are now. You've got to give this a Bickerstaff for the Pistons. Yeah, the Cavaliers have been, the biggest team of the year. Except for, of course, SAG, SGA's team. But this is, an unbelievable story going from 1468 to where they are now. You've got to give it a bigger staff for the Pistons. I mean, this has been, a major turnaround. But we'll all figure that out when those awards get announced. We'll probably have a next week's show, I think, unless they're going to hold it till later in the year. Remember, I have no say of when the awards are announced. Get the picture? Yeah. Or as we say in Italian, capisce? Okay. All right. All right. Following his third season with the Celtics, where he only averaged, well, of course, Peyton Pritchard, he was determined to grow and expand his role and play basketball at the highest level. Now, 2 years later, yep, Sixth Man of the Year award goes to Peyton Pritchard. In a season where they won 60 games for the 15th time in their career, yuck, and second seed Eastern Conference, only the Cavaliers. He averaged high of 14.3 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, averaging 28.4 minutes per game. It's a compounding effort, Pritchard told Sports Illustrated interview. You never know when your breakthrough is coming. So over the time period, you just need to keep getting better and better. And then along comes your year. You get more opportunities. Then you take full advantage of it. And, other people start to see different aspects of the game that you never saw before. And the confidence side of it. That is so true. So yeah, I get they deserving of it, but it had to be the Celtics. Yeah. Well. You get the idea. You know how I feel about that. You're trying to find a turn to college basketball for a minute. This concerns our Jersey crew here. Rutgers freshman star Ace Bailey has decided his future after an outstanding season at Rutgers. According to ESPN, he's going to declare himself for the draft in June. Well. A five-star recruit out of high school, Bailey played and started 30 games for Rutgers, averaging 17.6 points per game, 7.2 rebounds, and was a member of the 2025 Big Ten All-Freshman team, who was also voted Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Although Rutgers didn't do that well this season. I mean, they started out well, but then they kind of fell apart once the conference play began. Personally, I think Rutgers should stay in the Big East because they are nowhere near as competitive as they are now. Ugh. Bailey is ESPN's third-ranked prospect behind Dylan Harper and some guy from Duke named Cooper Flagg, or as it put the way in the college in the tournament, Cooper Gag, because he did gag. The draft lottery will take place on May 12th, with the Jazz, Hornets, and Wizards holding the same odds to land the top pick in the June draft, which will be held in beautiful downtown Secaucus, New Jersey. Actually, it's not so beautiful. Okay. Luka scored 16 of his 31 points in the first quarter, at 12 rebounds and 9 assists, as Lakers came away with a 94-85 win to tie the series at 1. LeBron scored 21 points and 11 rebounds, while Austin Reeves had 16 points and Rui Hachimura at 11 points. And fought back from Slay's 22-point blowout to even the series. Game 3 was last night. This was game 2. Over on the Timberwolves side, Julius Randle, former Knick that is, scored 27 points. Anthony Edwards scored 25. The Wolves, who shot 38% from the field and down from 51% from game 1. The Wolves shot 42% from three-point range, and a season low of 5.3 points, 5 3-pointers with 25 attempts in game 2. And it was the fewest points of the season. Luckily, of course, I turned around for them. Yeah. All right. Jimmy Butler. Okay. Well, he left game 2 of the series against the Rockets late in the first quarter after he sustained a lower body injury and was ruled out for return. The Warriors announced that Butler suffered a pelvis contusion, which is ugly enough. Butler hit the floor hard late in the first quarter. Rockets guard Amen Thompson jostling for position in the paint with Warriors for Draymond Green. tumbled into Butler's legs as Butler went for a rebound. Butler landed flat on his back and suffered the injury. He finished with 3 points and 2 rebounds before the injury happened. Oof, that is nasty. You got to stay healthy, though, when you're in the playoffs, as you know. Because if you're not healthy, you're not going to win, as we all know. Wait, did Steve? Did you want to say something? I forgot. I think Steve Kent left. Yeah, I thought someone was trying to say something, but I guess I was mistaken. All right, then I'll continue on. Yeah. Oh, and if you're worried about John Morant, forget it. Morant suffered a hip injury in the late stage of the third quarter in Thursday's loss. He left the game completely with 3:15 left, with the Grizzlies big up 67-40. But after his absence, it all went downhill, coughing up a 27-point lead and lost 114-108 and are now in an 0-3 hole. Oh my goodness. How do you blow a 27-point lead? May I ask that? How can you do that? 27 points? Ugh, especially in the playoffs. Oy, yeah, I know. So the injury happened when ran on a fast break and took the behind the back pass from teammate Scottie Pippen Jr. Morant went for a potential dunk on the Thunder's Leggett Dort and stopped him under him, causing him to fall to the floor. After he was checked by the medical staff, Morant did shoot 2 free throws but missed them both before heading to the locker room. He returned to the bench in street clothes and was seen on crutches. Morant finished with 15 points and 5 assists in the game before he left. He's averaged 23.2 points per game with 7.3 assists and 4.7 rebounds this season. But what a tough break. But to be honest, I don't think the Grizzlies have much of a chance here. Uh, they're losing right now, 69-63. If they don't win here, their season is over. And I think with Morant out, I think you can say, uh, no, he said goodbye, as the case may be. So they're down 3-0. Cavaliers up 3-0. Of course, I mean, I think they're easily going to go into the second round without a doubt. I mean, you're not the number one team for nothing. So I think after Monday's game and this game here, their season is finished. And he is now definitely ruled out for this game right here. Oh, Draymond Green also won the Hustle Award on Friday. Green was ranked in the top 40 in deflections, loose balls recovered, charges drawn, screen assists, contested shots, and boxed outs. The Hustle Award honors a player who makes the effort plays that don't often appear in the regular box score, but helps determines team success. So congratulations on that. So you have to say, congratulations on that. How many of you stayed up for the game for the Devils last night when they beat Carolina? Yeah, okay. Well, for those of you who did, I will explain what happened here. Simon Nemec, or Nemec, as the case may be, scored the game winner at 2:36 in double overtime. As the Devils found their way back in the series, still down three games to one, but came away with a 3-2 win after giving them a 2-goal lead. Oh boy. The Devils got a 2-goal lead in regulation, but they gave up a 2-goal lead after getting tied, but outshot the Hurricanes 9-2 in the first overtime period. Nemec then picked up a loose puck in the neutral zone, skating up to the right side, threaded up his way past Carolina defenseman Shane Gussaberry, then fired a shot that went past against Carolina goaltender Frederick Anderson. The regulation goals were scored by Dawson Mercer and Nico Herscher. Jacob Markstrom stopped 25 shots. Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis scored in the third period and sent the game to overtime. After a good chance, though, by the Devils, it wasn't enough as the game had to go to a second overtime, which I thought would never end. Defenseman Jonas Slingenhather was called for interference at 5:05 in the second period. Of the third period in regulation, to set the goals by Jarvis and Aho. They traded puck 4 times in the Devils' zone before Jarvis beat Markstrom's stick side. Aho tied the game at 12:20, 12 seconds after Brett Pierce was called for a delay of game. Okay. Markstrom cradled a shot by Andrei Svechnikov, but the puck bounced away as Markstrom glided out of the crease. Svechnikov collected the puck and passed it to Aho, whose shot sailed into the net as Hirscher and Slingenhather scrambled to try and make the block. Obviously, it did not happen. Lucky enough that the Devils did come away with the Game 4 win. Otherwise, they would have been an 0-3 hole, and tomorrow would have been a do or die for the Devils. Luckily, they'll have another game at least on Sunday before going back to Carolina on Tuesday. So you guys got away with one. That was not easy. I mean, if you would have lost that game, you would have been done tomorrow. Yeesh. Well, you still got one more game at home, Jimmy. Tomorrow's at home. If you don't win this, forget it. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to pass along 2 notes. First of all, the NHL did set a new attendance record last season with over 23 million people attending at the gates last season, and of course, was you know hyped up, of course, by the surpassing of Alexander Ovechkin and surpassing Wayne Gretzky for his goal scoring record. 23 million people attended game this year, surpassing the previous high of 22.8 million in change and 96.9% of captivity. Wow. And as a third straight year that the NHL has set new attendance records, which is good for the league. I mean, of course, hockey gets a bad rap saying it's like, it doesn't come close to the other 3 major sports leagues, 4 if you count WNBA or MLS, which it really does. But hockey is finally trying to get the respect it finally deserves. Regular season games were played at 36 venues, 32 home arenas plus the Winter Classic in Chicago, and the same series Ohio State, and the Global Series in Prague and Finland. The second highest crowd was 94,751 at Ohio Stadium in Columbus for the Stadium Series between the Blue Jackets and the Red Wings. It was on March 1st. Montreal, of course, was the leader with 865,000 plus on an average of 21,000.5 per game at the Bell Century Center. Montreal, of course, one of the original 6. The record does not include the Four Nations face-off, which was held earlier this season when games were played in Montreal and Boston. But that was a great tournament. So congratulations on that. And I also want to, pay a little tribute to one of the great broadcasters of Rangers hockey. For those of you who don't know, because if you don't live in the area, you probably never heard of him. Sam Rose, who called games for 40 years at MSG and Channel 9 back then, and called probably some of the greatest games in New York Rangers history. A couple in particular, starting with May 25th, 1994, when the Devils were up 2-1, and Mark Messier scored a hat trick to send that game to a game 6, actually a game 7, and his magnificent call when Stefan Matteau hit the game-winning goal in double overtime and sent the Rangers to the Stanley Cup. Even I went berserk over that, as you well know. Oh boy, was that something or what? And of course, June 14th, 1994, when the clock was counting down and when the Rangers won the cup and said those magic words, "The waiting is over." And even I went berserk. I wasn't at the game myself, but I had it on. And even if you weren't there in person, if you were watching it, you felt like you were there and hearing Sam's voice and John Davidson's voice out there. And what a moment. That's going to be, I think, is the most defining moment. Or even when in 2014, when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals after winning in dramatic fashion against, I believe it was the Penguins that year. And even I went berserk over that. In fact, I did a local show the next day, next week rather, and I brought in the on the back page of the sports of the New York Post, and I had the picture of the Rangers winning the Eastern Conference Final, and I was parading around the room, and we played "Happy" in the background for Pharrell. That was just, I was just like nuts. Oh boy! But after 40 years, Sam, you will be missed calling games with the Rangers. Watching it won't be the same. But they do have Kenny Albert taking over next season. Good luck. And he has called some, but he has called some NFL games. He did call Bears games for Chicago. In case you forgot about that. Yes, he did. Even though it was New Yorker, he did call Fox games for the Chicago Bears. Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. Great, great. Absolutely. And what about former Bears defensive tackle Steve McMichael? We're gonna count that too. Just kidding. Yeah. He passed away after complications of after he was diagnosed with ALS. What a shame. Uh, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, that's okay. Right. Yes, of course. So anyway, do you think that so can we say I think that Miami and the Grizzlies are done? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. What do you like in the Knicks Pistons series? Uh, Clippers and Nuggets can go either way. I still think the Nuggets are going to take this one, and I still say Houston over Golden State. Mhm. Yeah, exactly. All right, to the West, over to hockey for a minute. Um, Knights. Well, I think I'm still going to go with the Knights here, even though they're trailing, but I still think they have a chance to do it. In the Battle of Florida, I'm taking the. Even though the Lightning won today pretty convincingly, I'm still taking the Panthers. In the Battle of Ottawa, I'm taking the Leafs, and I'm taking the Stars over Avalanche. So, Devils fans, do you think maybe they're going to be able to have a game six if they win tomorrow? Well, if they do win, when they go up to game six, will they win? Let's say, will they win tomorrow and extend to a game six? Is what I'm trying to say. Well, with confidence. Okay. How about next? How about next Pistons? This is turning into quite a series here, guys. I thought it could go either way, to be honest with you. And it's been very tightly contested as I expected. Because I'm a little bit shaky of the Knicks. I mean, because although they're third seed, they didn't really play like a third seed. I mean, they had trouble with the top teams like Miami, like with Cleveland and Boston and teams in the West who had a really tough time, especially playing on their court. So I was a little skeptic about this, but it's been a very good series, and I think maybe the Knicks can pull it out. I mean, they did beat us on our home court in game two, but in game three, we beat the Pistons on their home court. So now we got a series here, guys. I mean, this is going to be, right down to the end, I think. I thought you'd say that. Yeah, it looks that way. Yeah. All right, before I forget anything, we'll do the UFL now before I forget and run out of time. All right. Okay. All right. The UFL, even though it's considered minor league football, but football's football. All right. So we're going to. I think we're also in week 5 now, so we're on the halfway point. Oh wow. All right. So April 25th. Last night we had the Memphis Showboats against the Birmingham Stallions. I took actually Birmingham. I lost again. Steve, who did you have? Okay, you took Matt. Okay, you took Birmingham. All right, Mike, Diane, Roger. Like I said, if you had a guess, we'll put it to you that way. All right, coming up in about an hour and a half, Michigan against St. Louis. Steve, Mike, Roger, Jimmy, Diane. Okay, Michigan it is. Two games on the schedule tomorrow. DC versus Arlington. Oh, gee, I wonder who Steve is going to take here. You're taking DC, right? But shock. Mike, Diane, Jimmy. I'm taking DC. Roger, I'm taking DC. And in the Battle of Texas, Houston versus San Antonio. Steve, who do you got? All right, Mike, Jimmy, Diane, Roger. Okay, I'm making Miss Houston. It is. Let's just hope Houston doesn't have a problem. Okay. All right, moving on. Yeah, yeah. They think Sarah's gonna be a star now. Well, we'll see about that. All right. No, he could be a star, but I'm not gonna say nothing about that. So anyway, over more hockey news. Lenny for Brendan Hagel got a 1-game suspension the day after hitting Panthers captain Alexander Barkov. Hagel received a 5-minute interference penalty after laying on Barkov away from the puck in the third period. Barkov did not return to the game, obviously. In a video regarding the decision, the league's Department of Safety said long after the puck is gone, Hagel delivered a hard and high-hitting body check that made some head contact on Barkov. This is considered interference. It is important to note that Barkov is not in possession of the puck on the play and therefore is not eligible to be checked at any manner. While we understand Hagel's argument that he is approaching the play as a Barker, the onus is on Hagel to be sure the player he is hitting is eligible to be checked. Barkov was not eligible to be checked. However, Hagel still delivered a powerful, forceful body check to an unsuspecting opponent with extreme force and could face supplemental discipline. Dirty play. Dirty play indeed. Hmm. Cherry Bay lightning forward. Gee, kind of reminds you of Ty Domi, doesn't he? Yeah. Or Rempe of the Rangers. Never mind. Ugh, I'm not gonna go there. If Rempe wasn't so, like he is, maybe they would have be in the playoffs. Well, that's what could have happened. I mean, what an ugly season that was. And the NBA will play in Abu Dhabi this year. The Knicks and the Sixers will have that game. It's the fourth straight year that the NBA is heading to the Mid East. The Bucks and Hawks played 2022, the Wolves in 2023, and the Celtics and Nuggets in 2024. And USA Basketball also visited the country for the World Cup in 2023. It's the third overseas destination announced by the league as well, joining China, which will return to the NBA after a 6 years absence, and the first time in Australia. And by the way, Australia will also host an NFL game in 2026, and in the first week of the season, maybe even opening night. Maybe. The Pelicans will head down under to play against a pair of Australian teams on October 3rd and 5th against Melbourne United, East Melbourne, making the first time NBA games will play in Australia. The Nets and Suns will play in China on October 10th and 12th. International games are growing. What can I say? Yeah, global appeal. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay, here's what it is about clutch time. Clutch time occurs in the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter or overtime when the score is within 5 points. This is the clutch. This is what I'm clutch for the year. Brunson was 17-11 in clutch games. He averaged one assist, shooting in 51% from the field, 84% of his free throws in clutch time. He collected 70 of 100 first place votes, 24 second place votes, and 4 third place votes for 428 points. Jokic was second with 312 points, and Anthony Edwards was a distant, and I mean a distant third, with 47 points. Talk about low. Wow. I'm surprised with that low, to be honest with you. No, but I thought it would have got better than 47 points. Uh, any Islanders fans out there? Okay, you might want to sit down for this one, Mikey, because Lou Lamoriello is done. His contract will not be renewed, and where he's held the post since 2018. This was a pitiful season for the Islanders, who finished 35 and 47, or if you count shootout losses, 30 overtime shootout losses, 35, 35, and 12. Their worst season in 7 years. So at one time he was, yes, but this is now, not then. So a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame, Louis is one of the most revered executives in the league. He was the godfather of the Devils dynasty by winning 3 Stanley Cups in 8 years: 95, 2000, and 2003. Remember the 2003 one die? We were there. We were there watching the game. Yeah. No, but Diane and I and another friend were watching the game at the sports bar. So and we all went crazy. So after leaving the Devils in 2015, which was a stupid thing to do, Lamorel worked with the Maple Syrups, I mean the Maple Leafs, before heading to the Islanders. The Islanders last won the Cup in 1983, which is 42 years ago. The closest they've been since then were the 2021 Eastern Conference Finals, but lost. Wow, 42 years. Seems longer than that. Oh, Steve, your Capitals are in trouble too, as your defenseman is out after meniscus surgery. Martin Furhaby. Yeah. Sustaining a right his injury was right knee in April 15th game against the Islanders. Good news is he did go through a successful surgical procedure this past week. So that's any consolation. Just sorry it had to happen to that. Maybe that's why the series between Montreal is being so competitive. They're not. This is not. Yeah, I mean, this is a 1-8 matchup, but this 1-8 matchup is, you know, becoming a kind of a surprise here. Yeah, and yeah. So, what do your Capitals need to do here, man? Okay, okay. Oh, before I forget, the Saints have picked up the fifth-year option on wideout Chris Obiele, but not their former first-round pick, Trevor Penning. General Manager Mickey Loomis confirmed the news on April 24th, a day before the draft began. Okay, so Wednesday. Also provided an update on the health of quarterback Derek Carr. He does have an issue with his shoulder, said Loomis. We are hoping to get clarity on this issue, and when we do, I will certainly report back. Otherwise, at this point, I have nothing further to say. Carr was not been seen on the facility since the news of his injury broke out on April 11th, 3 days before the start of voluntary workouts. The Saints selected Olave 11th overall and Payne 19th overall, both in 2022. He began his career with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons before missing 9 games last season with multiple concussions. He has 191 catches for 2,565 yards with 10 touchdowns with 39 games and 28 starts to his credit. Olave will earn just under $15.5 million in 2026 under the fifth-year option. Penning, who started all 17 games last season, and 23 to 40 games overall. With the Saints declining his $16 million option, Penning will play the following season of his rookie deal this season. Oof, nasty. All right. And the Titans have agreed to a deal with free agent wide receiver Tyler Lockett Wednesday. The deals were $4 million, but could be worth up to $6 million, depending on his status, of course. This is not the first time Lockett has broken his own news. He posted on social media last month when he parted ways with the Seahawks after spending the last 10 seasons. He became a free agent in the beginning of the league year. Lockett will now become the new target for whoever the Titans select as next quarterback in the draft, where Cam Ward, of course, was expected and is now first, of course. So it's likely that he'll be throwing passes to Lockett. Yes, of course. I'm just trying to look for some baseball news here, guys. So, yeah. And of course, Shannon Sharp. Yeah. Yeah. What a shame. Hmm. All right. For any baseball fans here, I got some interesting news for you here. Dylan Moore of the Mariners was named the AL Player of the Week after going 10 for 26 with 5 RBIs, 3 home runs, and 3 stolen bases. And get this, guys, the Mets are in first place in the NL East. How do you like that? You gotta be proud of this. I mean, I'm not a big Met fan, but I know you are. But you have, I mean, I gotta give them credit for what they've done this season. I mean, they're building up from last season when they went to the NLCS. Unfortunately, they lost to the Dodgers, but I gotta give them credit for what job they've done. I mean, the first week was a little bit rough, but still, they really poured it on. Of course, you got some competition though between the Cubs, the Padres, and the Dodgers. So while you're doing well, you gotta step it up for the postseason later on. Speaking of the Mets, now here's a good one. Luis Angel Acuna, I think that's the brother of Ronald Acuna, is off to a hot start. Listen to this. Um, this season so far, 5 doubles and 6 steals in 20 games since the start of the season. The infielder looks to be uh, the indisputable player for the Mets after having an offensive outburst in just 14 games last season while in the middle of a pennant race. So that's a thing, a big improvement right there. In fact, I know we usually say this for the beginning of the month, but I'm going to do a little bit of a standing check. Anywho, so after looking at so far, Yankees are in first place. It could use a little bit more, but this division here is a little weak. Only 4 games above 500, and the Blue Jays are breathing down their neck, and so are the Dead Sox, Red Sox. Oh boy. But hey, Steve, what's wrong with your Oilers this year? Orioles. Yeah. Wow, I wasn't kidding. Mike, you ready for this? Mike, you ready for this? You want to know what the Mets record is? 18-8, 5 games ahead of the Phillies. And that, my friends, is not only the best in the National League, but the best period. San Diego second at 17-9. San Diego is yeah. You can say that again, Mikey. 4-21. Oof. This year's Rockies. This year's Rockies. This year's Yankee. I mean, this year's Rockies is going to be like last year's White Sox, though they're 6-20. A slight improvement, but still pathetic. Yes, yes. 18-8. Mike, what did you do in the offseason to get this so good? Yeah, obviously. Oh, but Mike, I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, nobody expected it to be like this. I know I didn't. They're the best team in baseball right now. Yeah, and I think Juan Soto was making an impact as well. I kind of figured, well, they were going to. Yeah. Well, I think Soto was making a big difference here. I knew I think they were going to do well this year, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. But Soto may be the man. It might be, I think maybe good things might happen for the Mets with this. I mean, I'm stunned. I'm completely stunned. Any thoughts, guys, on the success so far of the Mets? That's not the question, Mike. Yeah, I wouldn't count it out, but you still got to get past, of course, like I said, the Cubs, the Padres, and the Padres. I mean, I don't believe that either. And the Dodgers right behind them. So I did not expect this. I expected better for the Mets this season, but this is beyond anybody's expectations. Well, mine. Now, as for the Braves, what has happened to them? I mean, they are off to a terrible start. This is not the way the Braves have been done. I'm not used to seeing this. They're off to an awful start, but Austin Riley is getting some help and relief as the third baseman is kind of back to his old self after injuries kind of messed up his career last season. So while he's looking at his old self again, the rest of the Braves are not. Put this way, the Mets are hot and the Braves are not. I forgot about that segment. Hot or not? Yeah, especially AJ Minter. Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I know it's only the end of April. We still got a long way to go, but you don't want to get behind too early because you might not be able to get a hold to climb out of this. As they say in baseball, it gets late early. You know, no, the Rockies are the worst period, but the Braves are nothing to write home about. You don't want to fall behind too far when you get to even now, you know, because you have so much ground to make up that you might not be able to get it all. So you might be mathematically eliminated by August. Oof. Okay, Tyler Mayhew of the Rangers might have missed up to 2 full seasons with Tommy John surgery, but he has seen the best pitcher in the majors in April with an ERA of, remember this, guys? How about this for an ERA? 0.68, and it's only given up 2 unearned runs in over 26 innings. That's Mayhew of the Rangers. Wowee. You get an ERA like that, you're going to be just sure to get into the playoffs. All right. Yeah. And can Carlos Stanton, okay, his injury, of course, usual injuries, has opened the door for Ben Rice, who has now become the Yankees' regular DH. In his second year as a Yankee, he has seized the opportunity with a 9.98 OPS in 66 at bats. At the time this article was written, the Yankees look to have their first baseman in the future. Well, of course, because Stanton's always injured and he's accident prone, he's going to be the Achilles heel and do some more damage. How's a guy that's staying in the major league who gets injured every year? I don't get it. How has he managed to stay in the league? If you're accident prone, no. Seriously. Okay. I got some interesting numbers here, though, about the baseball season so far. Now we're into a month in the season. There have been plenty of surprises in the context of a 162 regular season game, but every team has got a pleasant surprise for the early part of the season. Whether it's a $325 million pitcher that over delivers or a late spring training bullpen addition making some waves, some of the early trends will prove to be sustainable over the next 5 months. And I happen to have a small sample of these numbers here. At least I thought I did. I wonder what happened to them. Yeah, I had a few of them. I guess I'll have to find them later. But it's been pretty entertaining so far. Okay. Oh wait, I think I might have another. Oh here. Oh, unless they're not going to be able to fit it in. That's the thing. It's true. But before I do anything else, let me ask now. Steve, what was your best and worst moment of the month? All right. Mikey. All right. Roger, your best and worst. All right, Diane. Uh, Jimmy. Yes, yes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. I'll give you that. I have a tie for that, for the best, because you gotta give McIlroy. I mean, he waited 11 years to get another major, and he finally won the Masters after choking up on the 18th hole. I think it was a playoff hole, but won it, thank goodness. And the UConn Women Huskies basketball team is back, winning the championship. Oh yeah, and it wasn't even close in the final. I think the saddest news was when a former baseball player perished in the Dominican Republic this past month. Just a shameful tragedy. Yes. So that was you always got to look for some of the sad stories. And I think a college football player unexpectedly passed away too. I forget the name, but it was a unfortunate tragedy right there. So hard to go after that. Okay, Boston Marathon was held this past week, and I have the men's top finisher, the women's finisher, and the wheelchair finisher. Yes, they do that too. So, men's top 10 goes to John Corey of Kenya with a time of 2:04:15. The highest American finisher was Connor Mance at 2:05:08. Not bad. The women's Sharon Lodecki of Kenya, a time of 2:17:22. The highest American finisher was in seventh, Jess McLean at a time of 2:22:43 seconds. Not bad. And the wheelchair race, Marcel Hung of Sudan or Switzerland. I think it's Sudan. 121.34. Daniel Romachuk of USA finished at 125.58. And the women's Susanna Sarconi of the USA, 135.20 seconds. Congratulations to you all. I've never done Boston, but I've done New York, and it took me about 4 days? No, 8.5 hours the first time, and 6 hours the second time. I did better the second time. I don't know why, but I did. Hey, buddy, how are you? Rasal. Yeah, good. I was just chiming you in, guys. This is loud and clear, loud and clear. For those of you who don't know, this is Rasal McGee. He does a fine show after this show is over, and I'm glad he's in. So, Rasal, well, we only got about 6.5 minutes or so. Want to give any thoughts on the draft or anything else you got? No kidding. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. I mean, were you kind of surprised that it took Sanders to go this far down? I mean, I thought maybe it would be the second round, but all the way down to the fourth round. I mean, that doesn't do any justice. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, because when you were saying you were feeling sorry for him, I was feeling kind of sorry for him too. I mean, I think we all know he wasn't going to go top 10, but the sink down that low, that wasn't right. I think he got a bum rap. Yeah, something like that. Yes. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I remember, like I said, Brady wasn't picked so high, and look at him now. He's won what seven Super Bowls. So it doesn't matter where you get picked. I mean, sometimes they could be underrated as well as overrated. And Brady was, of course, really underrated in the draft when he was selected. But look where he turned out. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, couldn't say the same for Doug Flutie when he was selected in the '84 in the '83 '84 draft. And unfortunately, his career was a bust. Yeah. He had to go across the border to become a star. So, being selected first in the draft means nothing, and being selected low in the draft doesn't mean you're going to be a bad quarterback or whatever the case may be. No, no, yeah, it all depends on on how you look at it. So he could be a star player, but we'll have to wait and find out what happens. 3 years? Some are saying 4 or 5, but well, I don't know about that, but I think maybe within 3 years, I think maybe he will become a legitimate player. All right, but thanks for stopping in. Thanks, man. Yes. And remember, Rasal comes up after this program is over. So if you get a chance, hey, call in. I know Steve will be there. So yeah, as we usually are. And speaking of the Islanders, Cal Clutterbuck has announced retirement after 17 seasons, including 10 with the Islanders. Um, Clutterbuck's began his career. Um, 4,029 hits are the most in the league since they started tracking hits in 2005. He posted on Instagram on Wednesday thanking his lineman Matt Martin and Casey Calcis and the fans who made Long Island his home. Clutterbuck did not play last season after his contract was not renewed at last summer. Something he said referenced that the announcement last season would be his last, and this comes a day after Lou Lamoriello announced that he would not return. It's a sign of things to come. But of course, with the Islanders not having their best season, yeah, I'm not surprised. And Gabriel Landeskog may return after a 3-year absence after he was battling knee surgery and missed all of the past 2 seasons. And was determined at a cartilage transplant, ended up missing the next 2 seasons as he continued his rehab. So I'm glad to say that he's back. Colorado, he was part of the Stanley Cup champion team not that long ago. So that should ring a bell. Well, those of you who follow the Avalanche more closely. Okay, ooh, we're just about out of time, so we're gonna wrap it up. Then make way for Rasal. Don't forget next week is Derby Day, so get your predictions ready for the Kentucky Derby as we start the Triple Crown, the unofficial start of the summer sports season, of course. We'll also continue possibly round 2 of the NBA and NHL playoffs begin. We'll look also, of course, at the monthly schedule and standings as well. And a few other things. And in 2 weeks, it'll be Ladies' Night as we'll celebrate Mother's Day 2 weeks from now. So I hope all you ladies out there get a chance to call in. And guys, don't forget you're welcome too. So just keep that in mind. All right, so I'm gonna make way for Rasal and get out of here. And I'll be back next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. That note, have a good weekend. Be careful out there. Good night. Yeah,